Hi guys. So this morning I was listening to Teal Sawn. Teal Sawn talks about a lot about people, and she's very insightful, and I like to listen to her. She's one of the people I like to listen to because she has good observations. So today was about incompatibility. She stated that the problem with incompatibility, it's not about the differences. It's about how the differences prevent harmony in the relationship. Um, Differences are good to a certain point, right? We know that. We know that a little bit of differences it's okay because it makes a lot of the times what makes a really cool relationship, let's say between a marriage, is and not a friendship, just a marriage, is how what the other person, what you lack, the other person can give you, and then you guys both grow as an individual, or as a couple together. However, the problem arises when your differences are so gigantic and from every little thing. And it can be that certain differences are really big differences, like differences in political views or differences in religious beliefs and stuff like that. Those are really big deals for people. And usually people talk about these things during this dating period before they decide that they're going to get married with the person. But a lot of times the important topics don't appear until after people have committed to marrying the person. That happens. They focused on the wrong things, or it could also happen that you change. You change as an individual. It's impossible to remain the same person after a certain period of time, and sometimes two people change in the same direction, and sometimes two people change in different directions. Your interests change, and then there's nothing that binds you together but, let's say, children or bills or assets or anything like that. So I can understand that. Then she moves on to say, well, if their role isn't working, then change the role for them, or change your role in the relationship. Just like an employee gets a different position for working in this company, one that's better suited for them, it's better for the employee and it's better for the company as a whole, because they gave you a position that was suited for you, that was also suited for the company to give to you. So it's just a better dynamic for everyone in that sense. And that makes sense. She says, well, if their role as a partner isn't working, that doesn't necessarily mean that changing that position to a friendship is not going to work. You don't have to cut ties with them or anything. Everything can be peaceful, but maybe their role as a partner in your life is no longer suited or suitable for them. And it's better for both of you. It'll be healthier. And yes, however, I had to stop there and I listened to the whole thing. But then I was thinking about everything she said after the video was done. And I was thinking, oh, yes, that sounds great. And it's a harsh reality. And people don't like to face harsh realities because of the implications. It's like, okay, let's say that this isn't working out. Let's say this relationship is not working out. I'm unhappy. Let's change your role. Instead of being my partner, you're going to be my friend now. It's not that easy. The implications are big most of the time, especially if you have children, small children, not mature kids that are 18 or 21. At that point, it's a little bit different. You can make those changes in your life because your kids they won't be affected as much. They'll be mentally mature enough to understand that, hey, you know what? At this point in time, the relationship between your dad and I is done. So anyway, it's not that easy. Now, I do strongly believe that if you're being emotionally or physically abused, you have to get out. Now, even that is not easy sometimes, but that has more to do with, that's a topic for another day. But if that's not your case and you're not being physically or emotionally abused, now psychological abuse could probably be subjective, but not quite. Sometimes it's pretty obvious when you're being psychologically abused. But let's just say that it's very clear that you're not being physically or psychologically abused, and you're contemplating leaving your relationship, think about the implications of leaving. Is that rational at all? And be honest with yourself. For real. Be honest with yourself. Is your relationship, is your situation truly that bad that you're willing to put yourself in a much difficult situation, an unknown situation, because you don't know what's waiting for you out there. You don't know what you're going to find. You don't know. You could be hopeful and faith and have a lot of faith that and hope for the best, but there are no guarantees. So are you willing to take that risk? Think about it. Think about it. It sounds great, but if something sounds off here, and I'm not saying that I disagree with Teal Sawn, and I'm not saying that I hold the answers either, but there is something that simply tells me, what is my safest bet? Sometimes you have to do this. What is your safest bet? Jordan Peterson is someone else that I like to listen to. I like to listen to a couple people. Jordan Peterson said, what brings meaning to your life, or the meaning of life, is carry the biggest cross that you possibly can and bear it. Life is not free of pain. Being mortal means that you are going to suffer and that you are going to experience painful situations, challenging situations, and people despise that to no end. And whenever it gets very challenging, how are you supposed to grow unless it's really challenging for you? How? What is your guarantee that moving from this relationship to the next one is going to give you everything you want? That is an illusion. To think that the next relationship will give you everything that this one doesn't have. Maybe it will, but it's going to come with a price. Whatever the next relationship you're in, it's going to have things that you have in this one. You're never going to get everything. You're never going to find the perfect thing. Never. So that's all I wanted to share, is that Ryan Holiday, the author, has his famous book called The Obstacle is the Way. I love remembering that title, The Obstacle is the Way. I remember it often because whatever the challenge is that I'm facing, whatever the difficulty and the uncomfortable feeling that comes with that difficulty, with that annoying situation that I'm in, that is far from perfect, that is the way. What is the way? That depends on you. What do you have to do? Well, that is the way. If the obstacle is, a very simple example, if the obstacle is, shit, I am stuck in traffic, I am going to be late. Okay, that is the way. That obstacle of being stuck in traffic and being late is teaching you patience. It's teaching you to, hey, if this means that you're going to get, you won't get fired. I don't know. Let's go to that extent. Let's say, but because you've been so tardy in the past and you're in this particular job, this is the last straw. And if you're late this time, you're going to get fired. Let's say you get fired. That's okay. Life is trying to teach you something. It really is. It really, 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 really is. I think that everything happens for a reason. Whatever obstacle you're in, you have to face it. You have to face your obstacle and bear it. That's your cross. Anyway, so that's it for today.